Our blood is composed of four main components, namely red blood cells, white blood cells, platelets, and plasma. In this explanation, we will explore each of these parts in detail and also examine how blood can be replaced in situations where a person does not have enough of it. Red blood cells are perhaps the most widely recognized component of blood, and they account for nearly 1/2 of the total blood volume. Their primary role is to transport oxygen from the lungs to the various tissues throughout the body where it is needed for cellular respiration. To accomplish this task, red blood cells contain a red-colored protein known as hemoglobin, which has the ability to bind with oxygen, forming a compound called oxyhemoglobin. Once the red blood cells reach the tissues, the oxyhemoglobin splits back into hemoglobin and oxygen, allowing the oxygen to diffuse out into the cells where it is used to generate energy. Red blood cells are specially adapted for this task in two important ways. First, they do not have a nucleus, which leaves more room inside the cell to pack in hemoglobin and carry more oxygen. Second, they have a distinctive biconcave disc shape, meaning they are flattened with a dip in the center on both sides, which greatly increases their surface area and enhances the absorption and release of oxygen. In contrast, white blood cells make up less than 1% of our total blood, but they play an absolutely vital role as part of the immune system, defending the body against harmful invaders such as bacteria and viruses. There are many different types of white blood cells, and they can carry out a variety of complex tasks. Some of the main functions include phagocytosis, which involves engulfing and digesting microorganisms, the production of antibodies which attach to pathogens and help to destroy them, and the creation of antitoxins which neutralize the toxic substances that pathogens may release. An important detail to remember is that unlike red blood cells, white blood cells do contain a nucleus, which allows them to perform these complex immune functions. Moving on to platelets, these are not actually complete cells, but rather small fragments of cells that circulate within the blood. Because they are only fragments, platelets do not contain a nucleus. Their function is to help the body respond when there is damage, such as a cut or injury. When bleeding occurs, platelets rush to the site and begin to form a clot, which essentially acts like a biological adhesive to seal the break in the blood vessel. This clotting process is critical not just to prevent excessive blood loss, but also to stop harmful microorganisms from entering the body through open wounds where they could potentially cause an infection. The fourth main component of blood is plasma, which is a pale yellow or straw-colored liquid that makes up just over 1/2 of the total volume of blood. Plasma serves as the liquid base that keeps the blood flowing and transports various materials throughout the body. It carries the red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets we have already discussed. Additionally, plasma transports essential nutrients such as glucose and amino acids, waste products like carbon dioxide and urea, as well as hormones, proteins, antibodies, and antitoxins produced by white blood cells. In healthy adults, the average body contains approximately 5 liters of blood circulating within the cardiovascular system at any given moment. However, if a person loses too much blood due to a severe injury like a stab wound or as a result of surgical complications, there may not be enough blood left to properly deliver oxygen to their organs and tissues. In such situations, medical professionals may need to replace the lost blood, and there are two main ways to do this. One option is to use artificial blood, which is a manufactured substitute made primarily of saline or saltwater solution. The main benefit of artificial blood is that it helps maintain the volume of blood in the circulatory system, which keeps blood vessels full and allows the heart to continue pumping normally. However, artificial blood does not contain any red blood cells and therefore cannot carry additional oxygen. Because of this limitation, artificial blood can only safely replace about 1/3 of a person's total blood volume before oxygen transport becomes inadequate. A more effective solution is a blood transfusion in which a patient receives actual human blood donated by volunteer donors. Donated blood contains functioning red blood cells, which makes it highly effective at restoring oxygen delivery in cases of significant blood loss and can be the difference between life and death in critical situations.